Well, welcome back to the 40 Finance channel, everybody. It's been a while since I posted an update here, and kudos to everybody who comes back to see what was going on. I'm basically restarting. We'll get on to all of this in detail, but I'm basically restarting my stock portfolio. Had some wins, had some losses. I had some business things going on that I really needed to focus on for a while, and in that time I also had some life updates too. So I've got a son who's in college now, and that kind of changed the trajectory of my investing outlook, short-term and long-term. So I'll share all these updates with you, but happy to be back, and hopefully can put some more regular content together for you going forward. So as I stated in the beginning there about starting over my portfolio, this is from a taxable account perspective. This is not retirement and stuff like that. But the world behind the scenes, my life behind the scenes changed with some business opportunities. I also have, I mentioned the kid going to college, so the expenses there have went up quite a bit. So I took the opportunity to take some gains, take some losses, ultimately more losses than wins, I guess you could say, at the end of the day when it comes to net gains, and we'll cover that here in a second. But these were decisions I had to make that were outside of this channel. They're decisions I had to make from in terms of what do I want to invest in now as far as opportunities. So when it comes to straight stock scoreboard, these things weren't always easy, but I'll share with you where I stand at the end of 2023 is what this really goes through. So you see net gains and losses. I can't remember the exact peak of the taxable account, but it was in the neighborhood of like 80K, something like that. It might have, during the heyday, it might have hit 100, I can't remember. But 2020 was mostly investing. And I did pick off a couple gains, but it was only plus 3K. Then we got into 2021, ended the tax year at plus 2K. Then 2022, interest rates started going up. Some of the stocks that the losers I had in particular did not show much signs of life, and I was minus 10K on trades. And then last year through the end of the year, with the modifications and selling some winners and selling some losers, I ended up minus 2.5K. Bottom line, since I started making the taxable account, I ended up in the minus 7K range, but there's a big caveat there because I still hold 100 shares of PayPal that right now I think are minus 10K total, something like that. So not a great 4-year net, net returns, if you will. But again, some of these decisions were influenced by outside factors. If you go back in the videos and you wonder, which one's won, which one's lost, Smile Direct Club, this is 3-ish years ago, big fat failure. In fact, I looked at it today for the first time. I think it's like a penny stock now, pink sheet something. Unity Software, loser for me. Zillow was a loser in terms of where I bought it and where I sold it. Sabre, loser. Magnite, loser. Enphase, I've covered that one in detail. I basically bought at the peak and sold, not necessarily at the bottom, but I definitely lost money on it. And then we mentioned PayPal. That's in parentheses because I have not absorbed what will likely be even more losses on the PayPal side. Now, on the winners, there were a couple winners. Thank goodness. We had DraftKings was a net positive for me. Palantir, and that one's still going up, but I took a small profit when I could on that. TJX, Etsy has not performed particularly well, but when you look at it from terms of where I bought it and where I sold it, it was a net winner for me. Taiwan Semiconductor also produced a win for me. Visa, Amazon, I did not, I looked back, Amazon was like literally like plus $100. So basically flat. I sort of played with that. got in when I thought I was low, but it wasn't low. Managed to eke out flat, didn't feel super good about it, so I got out. And then, of course, the Qs, which was, is basically what I'm going to be looking at going forward. And I covered them quite a bit on this channel. The Qs were the best thing I ever did, by a mile. So whether that was just, holding for basically a short time, couple years, buying when things were even at the peak and averaging down, and then the TQQQ, which I've covered numerous times here, and I kind of did that experiment where I bought TQQQ very shortly after the interest rate hikes had just begun, and then continued to average down. Obviously, the Qs have sort of rebounded, and the TQQQ produced a profit for me. Now, the real experiment, the one that was kind of a killer there, is I wanted to hold the TQs for much, much longer than the couple years that I had them. And so hopefully I'll be able to start kind of redo that experiment coming up here. But at the time, you have to make decisions for your family. I needed the capital at the time, so I had to bail, and that of course kills a lot of the content that I was making here. So I just took some time, step away, kind of ground myself, think about these winners and losers, and the most obvious theme that goes in my sort of investing career, if you will, is that the Qs/ETFs/whatever have produced well. They've certainly been worth the time. Some of the other things, when you go up here, when I was getting into cheaper stocks or more hot, cold type stocks, they ended up being losers. And bottom line, I mean, they were losers and they cost me good money, and they will eventually cost me, if I had to guess, they will eventually cost me close to $20,000 maybe, unless PayPal has like a huge rebound. That being said, it wasn't a total apocalypse. And I think that one of the things I learned about myself is maybe I'm just not the best small to medium cap stock picker. And so for me going forward, what we're going to be doing on this channel a lot is the Qs, hopefully too, with a little bit more of a risk management strategy. I'm still going to be like basically heavy Qs, some TQs, and then we're going to balance it over from there. All right, guys, so that's the update of where I have been. Why am I starting over? All the things that you are probably curious about. I hope you join me for this next chapter. I got a lot of really cool stuff to show you. You guys probably remember that I did a lot of stuff with Seeking Alpha. They have added several new awesome tools. You can check out the link in the description if you want to support the channel. But I'll be going through those and how it relates to my future investing in the QQQ and balancing a portfolio. Thanks a lot. I hope everybody's doing good. Thanks to those who come back and say hi. We'll see you on the next video.